Thousands of people took to the streets across Turkey's major cities over the weekend, rallying in response to the detention, arrest, and subsequent charging of Ekrem İmamoğlu, who's the mayor of Istanbul and a vocal critic of Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdoğan. The protests, which began right after the arrest of Imamoglu on Wednesday, continued through the weekend and have become some of the largest demonstrations in the country in more than a decade. On Sunday, a Turkish court formally jailed Imamoglu, charging him with corruption pending a trial. His arrest has sparked outrage, with many seeing it as an attempt to silence a rising political figure. News agency Reuters reported that the court's decision could fuel an already intensifying wave of protests against Erdogan's government, signaling a potential political showdown in the coming years. Despite restrictions on public gatherings, demonstrators flooded the streets in Istanbul, Ankara, and Izmir. In Istanbul, large crowds gathered outside the municipality building and the main courthouse, clashing with the police. Hundreds of officers were stationed at both locations, while protesters responded by throwing firecrackers and other objects at the police. In turn, the authorities used tear gas and pepper spray along with water cannons to disperse the crowd. As tensions escalated, clashes spread to other cities. In Izmir on the western coast and in Ankara, police deployed water cannons against protesters. By Sunday, at least 323 people had been detained during the protests, reflecting the scale of the unrest that continues to build. Imamoglu's detention on charges of corruption and aiding terrorist groups has raised alarms among his supporters, who view the charges as politically motivated. Imamoglu, who's also a member of Turkey's main opposition party, which is the Republican People's Party, that is the CHP, is widely seen as a potential challenger to Erdogan in the 2028 presidential elections. In fact, the CHP named Imamoglu as its official candidate for that race just days after his arrest, despite the uncertainty surrounding his legal situation. The protests also reflect a deeper political divide in Turkey. On one side stands President Erdogan, who has been in power for over 20 years and has been accused of steering the country towards authoritarianism. Critics argue that his government has increasingly sought to suppress political opposition, and Imamoglu's arrest is seen as part of this broader pattern. And on the other side is Imamoglu, whose popularity has surged since his election as Istanbul's mayor. Known for his outspokenness and his challenges to Erdogan's policies, he has become a symbol of resistance. Despite being jailed, many believe Imamoglu remains a potential future leader who could challenge Erdogan's grip on power. The arrest and subsequent protests mark a crucial moment in Turkey's political landscape, especially with the 2028 presidential elections still 3 years away. While the exact outcome of this political standoff remains unclear, it's evident that a major showdown is on the horizon. Erdogan, who has been accused of undermining Turkey's secular foundations and steering the country towards a more authoritarian regime, faces increasing criticism. The continuing unrest suggests that many in Turkey are ready to challenge his leadership, and Imamoglu's arrest could further galvanize opposition movements. For now, the future of both Imamoglu and the Turkish political landscape is uncertain. However, with the public protests showing no signs of slowing down, it's clear that the political battle between Erdogan and Imamoglu is only just beginning. For more updates on Imamoglu's case and what will President Erdogan do next, stay tuned to the official YouTube channel of the Indian Express.